Okay guys and girls, wanted to do a 6-month ownership review of the 2017 F250 Super Duty 6.7 power stroke. I've got 8,000 miles on it now, and I've had it for a full 6 months. And excuse the mess. Been kind of crappy around here. Been working good. I bought that trailer there. It's a 7x14 dual axle, 16 feet total box length to haul the bikes around. Truck pulls it fine. So let's get on the road and we'll talk about a couple things. Okay, so we're on the road here. Just shy of 8,000 miles. Got it at the beginning of October. Pretty much had a full 6 months. Been working good. There was a recall on it for some bracket on the frame. It was just basically inspect to see if it was there, and if not, install it. Well, this truck had it. It was already in place, so no issues there. The dealer had me wait till 7,000 miles to do the first service, which they did. Didn't cost me a dime. They even rotated the tires for me. That guy just made a legal turn. So what do we got going on here? But yeah, they rotated the tires and everything, which is nice, and didn't have to mess with that because, you know, this has the tire pressure sensors monitors on it, and I have the tool to reset them. So that's something I'll do to show you guys. That's something you can do. The tool's not expensive. You can get, you know, like at any place that sells wheels, aftermarket wheels, you can get the kit. They'll sell you the sensors, and a lot of times they even have the little tool to program the sensors, because the vehicle needs to know what wheels wear. So, you know, that is, you know, a $40 little tool will save you a lot of money in the long run. And, you know, if you have like all Fords or whatever, you can use it on different vehicles. You can hear engine's quiet. See, on this tank of fuel here, we're averaging 16. One thing I did notice, pulling that box trailer, even empty, just the wind resistance, I mean, it kills the mileage. Kills it. I mean, 14 miles a gallon. With nothing in it. So, but the truck pulls fine, and I really like, let's see here, the integrated trailer brake. Yeah, that's the first I've used that. I really like that. That's pretty slick. Yeah, it ties in with the ABS in the vehicle. It works pretty smooth. My old pickup, I forget the brand it was that I had put in there, the brake controller, but it was a pendulum type. It wasn't a step type controller. You know, the more pressure you put on the brake, the more that pendulum swung, the more voltage it put to the rear brakes. And, you know, that was about the smoothest I've ever, you know, I really like that setup. This works it's pretty seamless. Yeah, these trucks are made to tow. They're made to haul, and, you know, I'm pleased with it. You know, I'd said in my original review about the ride quality. Yeah, it's not as smooth as my 2002, but this has a lot more hauling capability, and when you come to think of it, you know, Ford says the frame on this is 20-something times more rigid than previous versions. Well, right there it is. You're gonna feel more of the road because of that. That frame's gonna transmit that you know, those potholes and that to your rear end, you know, a lot more than what a spongy frame with lots of flex will do. You know, it would absorb that. This frame isn't. You're gonna feel it. But like I said, the seats are comfortable. They take up a lot of that. So, you know, that's one thing. I'm not going to complain because it's part of the truck's capability, you know, and I'll live with that. Mileage, fuel mileage, best I've seen, you know, on a trip, you know, it may have been around 18 and a half, and down to in the, you know, 14s towing. Like I said, it definitely does not get the mileage that the 7.3 did, but you know, we've got way more power too than what the 7.3 had. So, and another thing people have asked about the DEF, the diesel exhaust fluid. I actually got about 6,000 miles on one tank of DEF, so I think that's pretty good. I'm not going to complain about that either. If you're towing and doing lots of heavy pulling where the truck's going to be putting out more emissions, you may be using more DEF. You know, I don't know. That's something you guys, you haulers, you would know that better than me. Still got to learn. I haven't messed around with this thing. I mean, the freaking owner's manual is over 600 pages long. I figured out I have my old iPhone here that I use as my iPod to play my music through. That's one other little gripe I have. Nothing big, but there's no continuous power 12-volt socket. Everything, when you turn the key off, everything's off. You know, and I would like to have one, and I'm going to wire one in, but it would just be nice, you know. And this truck has dual alternators. I could go and run, you know, while it's running. I want to get it like an inverter for it too, if I wanted to charge laptops or whatever and do that. What else? Of course, my major gripe with the truck, my one big complaint, is the headlights. Like I said, they're not, you know, it's a 4 headlight system. All 4 lights are on all the time, high and low, and they're not bright. And like I said, when you get the diesel option, in my mind, when you're paying that kind of, you know, $8,000–9,000 option, you should get LED lights as part of that package. You know, this truck was dang near 60 grand. It should have LED lights on it. You know, I know you can go and get King Ranch or Lariat or whatever, and then, you know, come standard. Well, it should come standard as part of the diesel package. We're paying this premium price for this engine. I can't see where it costs that much more. You know, I'd be willing to pay a few $100s more just to have the lights in from the factory. What now, I'm looking at getting some, you know, LED conversion bulbs and trying them out, just to get a little bit more light, because I do a lot of driving at night, you know, when I work 311 shift, and I live in an area where there's lots of deer, and I like to be able to see what's going on around me. But fit and finish inside the cab, everywhere, it's a nice truck. I really like it. The other thing, a little bit of a problem, but it's remedied, you know, but with how high the truck sits, the ass end, you know, I had to get a pretty good, I think an 8-inch drop for that trailer, you know. So, you know, luckily, but it's rated, the hitch is rated at 10,000, the drop down that I got and traded 10,000 or 10,000 pounds. So, you know, that's really no big deal there. But on the flip side of that, I have a low boy with a pintle hitch that now, my old truck sat pretty low, but now with this sitting as high as it does, you know, it's going to be sitting at a better, you know, better level. And I think, you know, when I use that to haul my tractors that I have, that'll work out a little bit better. But yeah, I still happy with the truck. Been driving it a lot. I got to get my tint strip here on the windshield. I like to have that just to help keep the sun out. I don't like driving around in a fishbowl. And that's, well, I had one other issue, just in case maybe some of y'all had it. When I come home from work, get my stuff out of the passenger seat there and walk by that right front fender there, I could smell antifreeze. And got to be looking, you know, there's two separate cooling systems on this. You've got your one for the engine, and you've got a cooling system for the intercooler, you know, the high pressure fuel. You know, you got an overflow tank over on the driver's side, and you've got a tank over on the passenger side. Well, that passenger side was pushing out antifreeze, but and that's for the intercooler. But all it was is, you know, I let it cool down, and it was way over full from the factory. You know, it's over the max mark. So when it gets hot, you know, it's pushing it out, which that's understandable there. You know why that's doing that. So, but yeah, if y'all have any questions, comments, leave them down in the comment section. I always try to answer. Got some things I want to be doing. I think I'm going to put a tonneau cover on, and just some dress up bits. Even been looking at running boards or Nerf bars, something like that, because I keep getting the stink eye whenever somebody keeps trying to get up in the truck. Just some things dressed up a little bit, because there's just that big sea of blue and I want to set it off a little bit. And even got looking at some wheels too, maybe to add to it here later on, but that'll be a while. But yep, I appreciate y'all watching. Stay tuned for more stuff. Be sure to check out my other videos. Subscribe if you haven't, and be sure to hit that like button. And y'all take care and stay safe out there.